forecast, and I'll show you
business. It does not at this point. That's the next step. If this snow gets heavy enough and bad enough, although there are no plans at this point, they could ask all non-essential businesses to close and all non-essential traffic to stay off the roads. That has not happened yet. That's the next step. Also, there's a lot of people are asking about state workers tomorrow. I've just talked to an aide to the governor who said that decision has not been made. However, it does look very unlikely that there's going to be much activity in Trenton simply because of all the snow that they have received so far, and it's snowing heavily down there. Now, I'm in Passaic County in Clifton, and each one of the counties, of course, in New Jersey has its own emergency management people. Here, they are talking about a state of emergency, too, and it was supposed to be declared within minutes of the last time I spoke to the emergency people. Now, basically what that means is they'll be able to close county roads as they need to. They want to make sure that traffic stays off of these roads so that they can get them clean and cleaned up and pavement bare as soon as they possibly can after this storm is over. So if you're out traveling around, you may run into situations where roads are closed by either the state police or by county officials to make sure that they can get the snow removed, because when this stuff comes down, they're going to be busy, busy, busy. As you can see, people are still out in this stuff. I mean, I'm amazed at the traffic here for what now is an early Sunday afternoon. I mean, I've been on this road. I've never seen it this heavy on a Sunday. So these people are apparently trying to get out, either make last-minute plans to go places or whatever, but this is pretty significant traffic, I think, for a Sunday afternoon. At this point, there is heavy snow already on the ground in places probably south of New Brunswick, and we have here, I would say, an inch already on the ground, and as you know, the forecasts are calling for 10 or 15 or 20, who knows what at this point. The serious problems, of course, are the secondary roads where this stuff is falling on top of ice. That's going to cause some serious problems. My guess is there are going to be a lot of schools closed tomorrow, so this is going to be a very, very treacherous day for the roads. As far as the plows, every plow that's workable in the state is on the roadways, is the only way that the transportation people will describe it. Every warm body that they can get out to work on the snow is going to be working on it. There are going to be literally thousands of vehicles and thousands of people out trying to clear this up, because this thing is going to come in and give us a wallop over a few-hour period, and there's going to be, as we heard our forecasters say earlier today, some heavy winds. That means once you get it cleared off, it's going to be blown right back on, cleared off, blown on. These people are going to be working literally around the clock. It is going to be one mean day. And these people who are out wandering around in this, if they're not careful, they're going to be very surprised in a couple of hours when this heavy dose comes in and they can't get back to where they came from. So this is not a day to go wandering around. And we're getting to the critical point where transportation is going to become a very difficult proposition, even on main roads such as Route 3 you see behind me. We also have had word, of course, that at Newark Airport they're going to be closing down the traffic there at 3 o'clock. At least many of the airlines have said they're canceling flights after that because they're getting some heavy snows, and that's going to be very difficult to move as well. So the whole state is in for a very difficult time, the whole tri-state area, of course. And, of course, we'll be following it closely for you. Back to you guys.
All right, Ben, thank you very much for that report. Let's just add that we have some information that Newark Airport will be having a meeting at 1 o'clock to decide exactly what to do about all of their problems out there.
And we also want to give word that as of the time of our show started at 12:30 p.m., all U.S. air operations in and out of all the major airports have been suspended until sometime tomorrow. So you might want to check ahead and make sure that anyone that you were expecting to come into town has also received that information. Our own meteorologist, Chris Cimino, has been in the storm center all day long tracking this very fast-moving storm. Chris, what's the latest on this?
Well, we're now finally on the leading edge of that heavier snow band that's pushing towards the tri-state area. Now, the latest reports from the airports at Newark, LaGuardia, and Kennedy all showing the visibility is coming down to a half-mile or less, moderate snowfall there. That's on the order of a half-inch to an inch an hour, and there's still heavier stuff downstream where our weather is going to be coming from. Show you the big picture to show you how massive this storm is. It's affecting areas of southwest Georgia all the way up through the Carolinas, Virginia, the Delmarva, to southern New England, and out west to the Ohio Valley. This is a big, big storm system, big area of low pressure, just starting to get itself wound up now right along the Carolina coast. You can almost see a little bit of a circulation, and the circulation around these storms is counterclockwise, and you're starting to see that motion. As the storm itself tracks up the coast, it will continue to throw more moisture in off the Atlantic Ocean, throwing it into all this cold air sitting over us. That combination spells more snow. The snow will fall heavily at times, especially later this afternoon and tonight. Again, if you're in the city and maybe a little further to the north and east, you're saying, what blizzard? It doesn't look that bad out there. Don't be fooled by that. It has to start someplace, and it's starting out generally in a lighter snow, but in 2, 3, 4 hours and then some, it will become much heavier. And as the storm itself gets a little bit closer, and the difference between the high pressure to the north and the deepening storm, we're going to see very strong winds develop here. Those strong winds are going to blow this snow around. It's very fine, very powdery. That's going to reduce the visibility as well, and half the time you're not going to know what snow is coming down and what snow is blowing around on the ground. In any case, when it all settles down, we stick some rulers in it, we think we're going to find 15 to 20 inches of snow on the ground by Monday midday as the snow winds down to some snow showers. That's on level ground, but again, there's going to be blowing and drifting on the order of 2 to 3, perhaps 4 feet, slightly lesser amounts to the north and west, but 10 to 18 is certainly not that much less. Again, it's a major, major nor'easter. This could fall into the category of one of the worst storms we have ever seen here in the tri-state. Only a couple of storms in history and the record books have reached over 20 inches. The blizzard of '88, the storm in 1947 right after Christmas Day, that was it, and this one has the potential to do it. Again, the heaviest snow is going to move in later this afternoon and tonight. Will continue tomorrow morning. Blizzard conditions, certainly. Look at the winds, northeast 20 to 30 and becoming gusty this afternoon. The other side of the coin here, too, is the temperature. It's in the teens right now. That's the actual temperature, and as the wind picks up, we're talking about wind chills well below zero. Tonight, the temperatures will level off and actually rise a little as that easterly flow of air starts to move in just a little bit, and that's going to basically, you want to call it warm things up, what it's going to also do is bring in a lot of moisture. Extreme southern sections of New Jersey around Cape May and Atlantic City may see a little sleet mix in for a while late this afternoon, but in the city, basically all the northwestern suburbs, this is an all-snow producer, and it's going to be a while before we dig on out. We really won't have a chance to do that, I don't really think, until late in the day tomorrow, and even at that, it'll still be blowing around, so not until Tuesday or Wednesday will we catch our breath with this storm. But there's no escaping it. As I said, you look downstream where the weather's coming from, Lynchburg, Virginia, 18 inches of snow. Dulles, just outside of Washington, a foot on the ground. It's still falling there. So this is only the beginning. I have to stress that. This is just the beginning of the storm. You see maybe an inch on the ground. You don't think much is going on. It's going to get much, much worse before it gets better. We'll continue to track it. Joe Whitty will be back with a little historical data on some snow in New York City in just a little bit as well.
All right.
All right, Chris Cimino.
Chris, thank you very much. We're going to check in now over at Shadow Traffic with Trish Yodice and see what's happening on the roads, which cannot be good. Trish, how is it going?
Absolutely not, Perry. We've got major problems out there right now, and if this is only the beginning of the storm, who knows what's going to happen. Right now, we've got very serious and treacherous road conditions out there. We'll take a look right now in Nassau County. Very icy out there, LIE, Northern State Parkway. Again, they are just riddled with disabled vehicles and spinouts and fender benders. Westbound side of the LIE, got an accident being cleared right around the South Coast State Parkway. Police telling us there's just so many, it's hard for them to keep up with all of them. You also want to watch out on the exit and entrance ramps in the local streets. They are very icy as well. Rockland County, pretty much the same story. Very snowy road conditions and icy conditions as well. Palisades Interstate Parkway, again, numerous fender benders and stalled out cars being cleared. Visibility, also a problem. Police are telling us some cases they're seeing whiteout conditions. Tappan Zee Bridge down to a 35-mile-an-hour speed restriction, so keep that in mind. In fact, at our upper East River crossings, Whitestone and Throgs Neck Bridge now down to a 35-mile-an-hour speed restriction as well. Finally, the roadway conditions continue to get worse, so once again, if you don't have to be out there, please stay off of the roadways. Mass Transit Metro North, now they're running with some delays because of frozen power lines. And, of course, the airports are having problems as well, so make sure you call your carrier ahead of time. Ken and Perry, back to you.
All right, Trish, thanks very much. Can't tell people enough. Stay indoors.
Definitely. If you don't have to go outdoors, this is not the time, of course, to try to do so. We checked in with Ben Farnsworth a little earlier. He was in Clifton, New Jersey, for a look at what's happening in Midtown Manhattan. Let's check in with now Dave Browdy, who is live on the Upper West Side. Dave, what's the situation there? It looks pretty snowy.
Yeah, Ken, it's coming down pretty hard here. And you're talking about people staying inside. Well, here's a guy who can't stay inside. This is Mr. Russo. He's the super here, and he's been shoveling the snow. You got an early start this time, right?
Yep, we're going to be shoveling the snow all day today. Me and my men will be out here until about 11 tonight, 11, 12 o'clock tonight.
Can you stay ahead of a storm like this?
Last storm I remember like this was 47.
Now, Chris in the Weather Center was talking about that being one of the legendary storms of our time.
For my time, it was 1947, I remember. Go ahead.
And 2 feet of snow.
More than 2 feet. Back then, it was a good 4 feet or so. That was way back in 100th Street when I worked in a public school then.
Well, at least we're not going to have to shovel out that much this time. But as you can see up and down Broadway here, there is a good bit of snow coming down. There are supers who are dragging out the shovels already. And there are a lot of people who are out doing their normal errands. You see people who've been out here with their kids. The kids seem to love it. They are, however, about the only ones who love it. Traffic here is moving reasonably well. Let's take a walk out here. This is Broadway. You can see it is covered with slush, covered with not too much of it, but it is just enough that if you try to drive on this and you try to brake, you are going to slide just as we are sliding. It is going to get worse, they tell us. We're going to be out here through all of it. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Dave Browdy, thank you for braving the conditions out there for us. We certainly appreciate that.
We sure do. And now for the very latest on all of our area airports. We're going to check in with John Haley of the Port Authority. There have been lots of reports of airline closures. John, what is the very latest?
Well, they remain open at this time, although there's heavy cancellations. And so we... Again, would advise everybody very strongly, as we've been doing all morning throughout the storm, is to stay home, and if it's absolutely essential that you travel, obviously to use caution. But at the airports, to check with the airports, virtually all the flights are being canceled. I mean, it's at this point we're continuing to monitor the storm, but as you well know, the conditions are pretty grim.
John Haley, we've been receiving reports that people have been trying to call the various airports and can't get through now on the telephone lines. Do you suggest any alternate ways of receiving information about port closures?
No, actually, the only way the airlines themselves control the schedules and make determinations in consultation with the appropriate oversight agencies about canceling flights. And really, the best source of information on a particular flight is are the airlines. So I would just ask people to be patient and keep trying. Obviously, in a day like today, the volume is overwhelming.
We've been told that there's a 1 o'clock meeting this afternoon at Newark Airport to decide what to do with that airport. Is there anything else that you can tell us about what they plan to do?
No, we're tracking this. We've got all essential Port Authority personnel in already. We've been monitoring this. We'll meet with everybody. I don't want to predict one way or the other, but I think it's a reasonable expectation given the conditions that we're facing and the number of flights that have been canceled already. That we'll try to keep their airports open, but the likelihood is at some point we may lose them. But we'll keep you posted on that.
All right, we sure will. John Haley, Port Authority, we thank you for that information this morning, and thank you for joining us.
Well, as we've been telling you all morning, the snow in the storm has been arriving. It is now officially here and is only going to worsen. Please stay with News Channel 4 as we continue our special coverage